still haunts India's heartland.
1,000 rupee currency note from midnight to night.
Not an isolated domestic event. Not an isolated domestic event. Namaskar, this is Ratna. You are watching Empire Diaries, our independent digital platform. It has been 5 years since the Indian government gave its public the biggest economic shock in modern history. The demonetization declared on 8th November 2016 still haunts India's heartland. The grassroots economy still bleeds from the damaged tongue. Empire Diaries closely studied certain events that took place in India and outside in the days and months before demonetization. Looking back, the events indicate that there was a steady build-up to the note ban announcement. They show it was not an isolated domestic event. Instead, it was possibly a part of a larger global conspiracy to attack the cash economy of some countries. Let's first look at what happened on the night of 8th November 2016.
500 rupee and 1,000 rupee currency notes presently in use.
Rupees 1,000 and Rupees 500 banknotes were declared banned in 4 hours' notice. The official line was, it was a crackdown on black economy, fake currency and terror funding. But none of the targets were met in a big way. Demonetization instead broke the back of India's cash-driven economy. The collateral damage dwarfed everything else. In the years leading up to 2016, 87% of daily transactions in India used to be done in cash. A massive number of Indians had never been to a bank, forget having bank accounts. They dealt only in cash. In such a country, a sudden ban on 86% of the currency notes in people's hands was an economic earthquake. India's economy looked like a battlefield. It was clear a war was being fought, a war on cash. To be precise, a war on people with cash. So here are some dots that we have connected. We will start with a report jointly published by Google and US-based Boston Consultancy Group. It came out in July 2016, exactly 4 months before India declared demonetization. The report is titled Digital Payments 2020, the Making of a $500 billion Ecosystem in India. Google and BCG argued the need for Indians to switch from cash to digital in their daily transactions. The report openly predicted that India was on the verge of a major disruption in a drive to go digital. Here is what it said. We expect the digital payment space to witness significant disruption in the days ahead. While the exact form and shape of disruption will only be unveiled over time, the crystal ball indicates 7 trends set to transform the payments landscape in India over the next 5 years. The report has a chapter dedicated to the disruption it predicted. It's titled India Payments on a Similar Disruption Trajectory. 4 months before demonetization, the report was either a prophetic prediction by Google and BCG, or they simply knew about India's secret plan and dropped a clear hint for us. What is more audacious are the words that Google and BCG used in the report to describe the potential for India's digital payments market. India is a $500 billion pot of gold, the report says in a separate chapter by that name. When do we call something a pot of gold? Obviously, we talk about a treasure we want to loot. This is how Google, BCG and such organizations from the West look at India, a pot of gold to exploit. Looks like East India Company days are not over yet. So that was clue number 1, that India's demonetization was perhaps pre-planned and known by some private organizations in the West. Now we come to another case study. It's a formal announcement that was made on 1st September 2015. An international lobby group supported by the UN called Better Than Cash Alliance declared a partnership with the Indian government. Their goal was to accelerate financial inclusion for everyone. In simple words, It was a project to help more and more Indians move away from using cash for transactions and turn to digital payments platforms. Here is what the alliance said in its official statement that day. The new partnership with Better Than Cash Alliance, made up of governments, companies and international organizations, is an extension of the Indian government's commitment to reduce cash in its economy. Digital financial services lower the cost of providing financial services and make it more convenient for poor people to access their accounts. If the Better Than Cash Alliance was so concerned about poor Indians, then why was it trying to move them away from cash in a country where the poorest of the poor deal only in cash? Let's look who are the partners of this Better Than Cash Alliance. There is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Then there is Clinton Global Initiative, Catholic Relief Services, Omidyar Group, Grameen Foundation, Gap, H&M, Marks & Spencer, MasterCard, Visa, Coca-Cola, Unilever, USAID and various UN entities. Let's now study clue number 3. It's a formal announcement that was made by the powerful American funding group called USAID, or US Agency for International Development. On 18th October 2016, exactly 20 days before India announced the note ban, the USAID declared a partnership with India's finance ministry. It was for a project called Catalyst. It aimed to hold an unprecedented experiment in 6 Indian cities to scale up digital payments. According to the report, here is what the Catalyst project CEO Badal Malik said at the announcement. So far, 6 cities have been shortlisted, including Indore, Visakhapatnam, Kota, Jaipur, Bhopal and Nagpur, of which one will be chosen for the project. Once the city is chosen, ground operations will start by the end of this year. This is an exciting time to get into digital payments. While there have been core technology development through the India Stack as well as concerted push for digital payments by the government, there is still a last mile gap when it comes to merchant acceptance. We want to bring a holistic ecosystem approach to these problems. The goal is to take one city and increase the digital payments 10 times in 6 to 12 months. But less than 3 weeks after the experiment was announced, the push for cash to digital began on a much bigger scale with the nationwide note ban. Now, let's look at hint number 4, and this was much closer to the big day. From 7th to 9th November in 2016, New Delhi hosted the India-UK Tech Summit, attended by the Prime Ministers of the 2 countries at that time, Narendra Modi and Theresa May. On the opening day of the event on 7th November, just a day before demonetization was announced, the Indian PM gave a speech on India-UK relations in which he said that our fintech landscape was going to see a major transformation. Here is what he said that day. A natural collaboration emerges in India's rapidly developing financial services sector. Fintech is emerging as a next big transformation for India as we bring 220 million new households into the umbrella of the Jan Dhan Yojana. This financial inclusion scheme is being melded with mobile technology and the unique identification card to form the largest social security program in the world. The interesting point is the summit was attended by representatives of a European company called Delarue. Why are we talking about Delarue here? Because Delarue is an influential company that provides currency printing technology and machinery to countries around the world.
Portfolio and combine them to create the optimal balance between functionality and security. The first edition features.
The company was associated with India's currency production since 1876, long before independence. Is it a mere coincidence that the Indian PM hosts a currency printing company at a summit, then right in the middle of it announces a note ban raising questions on the future of cash printing? Was India's note ban part of a war against the cash lobby, or pro-digital lobby groups trying to disrupt the economies of countries where cash is a vital part of daily life? If so, then why? Are poor Indians caught in the crossfire? The note ban has been tried out in many other countries for various reasons. In Nigeria, Ghana, Myanmar, former Soviet Union, Zimbabwe, North Korea, to name a few. Recently, many commentators around the world, such as German economist Norbert Hering, have pointed out that indeed there is an ongoing war on cash. Nobody will spoon feed us the truth. It's up to us to study the events and connect the dots. But what we know for sure, that in a financially troubled country such as India, meddling with cash just doesn't work. It can result in an economic earthquake, as we saw in 2016. For more such stories and analysis, you can log on to our website empirediaries.com. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.